for the final weekend of the regular season of league play. Kirkwood looking to lock up first place in the regular season, and with it would come the top seed in the Blue Note Cup playoffs. That is a big deal because even though there's an even 8 teams in this league, so no first round byes, every team would have a matchup in the first round of the playoffs. There is one team that is not like the others in this league, and that is the team Kirkwood wants to play in the first round of the Blue Note Cup. It's a team that has only one win in all of their league games this year, and the rating system I like to look at puts them 2 or 3 goals behind the next best teams in the league, so a very material advantage for whichever team finishes in first place of this league, and Kirkwood has a chance to do exactly that with a win today or tomorrow. Kirkwood can also lock up first place with a pair of ties, a tie today and tomorrow. Really the formula is they need 2 points this weekend and they will be your regular season champions of 12U Peewee A3. They also have some outs if the Rockets do not win out, but you don't want to count on that. The Rockets are a very strong team, so you don't want to be sitting at home hoping they have to lose. You got to take care of business yourself on the ice. That starts here today against the first of 2 St. Peter's teams. This is a team that Kirkwood played one of its worst games of the season against in the first game of the Rolling Thunder tournament. St. Peter's won that one 5-1. It was pretty close through the second period, but a couple goals in the third broke it open for St. Peter's, and you saw a little bit of quit in the Stars. That was several months ago. This is a very different team than then, but it is, of course, in the back of the minds. Do not want to repeat that performance against a team that Kirkwood should handle today. The Stars did rebound against this same St. Peter's team with a pretty lopsided win in their first meeting of the regular season for league play. So we're hoping that one sticks. The other little history between these 2 teams is that that first regular season game was supposed to happen in Kirkwood. St. Peter's got the schedule wrong in their system and did not show up in time for that one, so it got rescheduled in St. Peter's, but pretty good gesture by the St. Peter's parents there, giving a little care package to Kirkwood fans and supporters and players. Bury any animosity on the reschedule there. So we've seen these teams play several times this season, and it's been very different each time out. Very curious to see what we get between them today. There's been a game that St. Peter's has dominated. There's been a game that Kirkwood has dominated. So we'll settle that score here today on the ice with first place on the line for Kirkwood. And the puck is on the ice. Kirkwood wins it back into its own defensive zone. Now up to center line. It's Sam Hughes. St. Peter's breaks it up there and comes the other way. Kirkwood has it in the corner, battling for it there. St. Peter's coming in close to net, tried to switch it to the weak side, but Aiden got to stick to it. Forecheck keeps coming for St. Peter's. They get it behind the goal. Loose to Bodie in the corner, up to Sam. Now Bodie's gonna pass it out of the zone ahead of Aiden, showing off his speed and trying to chase it down here. Nice pass to the center line by St. Peter's, and they skate into the zone. Jacob trying to wall him off there. Does so, and here comes Liam Gale to steal the puck. Can't get it out of the zone. It comes back to Jacob. He's going to try that same side, makes a move, and flips it out to center ice. St. Peter's player is there, But strong stick by Liam Gale at the center line. And now he's in, has a winger with him. Jaden, Liam, looking for that centering pass, can't find it quite yet. Now it's to Jackson, team leader in points in front of the goal. St. Peter's deals with it, and they come on a rush of their own the other way. On the wing, shooting, high blocker save by Rory. And here's Jackson with the exit pass to his brother Jaden. They attack the defenders themselves. Jaden still on the puck, looking for the centering pass, has Bryson in the slot. Couldn't get the shot off, he drops it to Gavin. Now down low, back to Jaden. And St. Peter's chips it up the boards, held in at the line by Bryson. Now St. Peter's exits. And Blake sends it back in deep. Strong stick by him on the far boards. He chases his own pass deep into the zone as a defenseman, battling for it behind the goal. Here comes some help from Leo. Still a pile-up player, comes loose to the side of the crease. St. Peter's has it there. They skate it out. And now dump it into the zone. Bodie sends it right back out. St. Peter's has to wait. They avoid the offsides. Now they keep coming, sending it deep. Bodie's gonna skate back to it behind the goal. Up the boards to Leo. St. Peter's steals it there. St. Peter's flipping it high and down the boards into the corner. Coming into the face-off circle, Bodie takes it and sends it long for Will, who chases it down. Getting a shot, it goes wide. St. Peter's on the puck behind the goal. Finding the exit pass and skating it to the other side. Bodie, no, that's David there. Oh, quick shot comes in on Rory. She keeps it out. Good reflex by her. Not a lot of setup to that shot. It came on to her very quick. She was ready for it, in position. St. Peter's still on the puck behind the goal. Looking for a centering pass. Gets it to the point. Now down into the corner. Turning it around. Face-off circle. Slot shot. Toe save by Rory. Keeps it out. Very dangerous look from St. Peter's there. Probably the best chance of the game for either team. Great look at goal for St. Peter's. Deep in the slot. Rory just getting the toe out to keep the puck out. We stay scoreless. Just under 8 minutes to go here in the first period. Nice pass by Jacob up to Aiden. He turns on the Jets. Centering pass. St. Peter's is there. Sam gets a stick to it in the corner. And St. Peter's goes behind the goal. Here comes the Kirkwood forecheck. David steals it. Drops it to Aiden. Slam line is back together with Aiden on the ice. He missed the previous weekend on a snowboarding trip, but Sam and Aiden Lamb forming that slam line on either side of David. Together again. Here's Sam in the corner. Up to Aiden. Gets by him, so St. Peter's, almost picked off by David at center ice. It does get by him, and St. Peter's comes in, but offsides. 7:09 here to go in the first period. Chances on both ends, but still scoreless. It will be Liam Gale on the dot for the Stars. He's got the twin engines on either side of him, Jaden and Jackson. Puck comes out to center ice. St. Peter's has it, but picked off by Jaden and up to Jackson. Fighting through traffic. And St. Peter's skating it out, chipping it up ahead. Building speed through the neutral zone. In on the wing, now behind the goal. Trying to get a good look there, couldn't pull the trigger. Still fighting for it into that corner. Puck does not squirt out of the zone. Now it's flipped up high, out to center ice. Jaden takes a whack at it. Here's Liam coming in to help. Blake skating to daylight. Now flipping it forward to Jackson. And turned over. Here's St. Peter's. Little bit of a rush here. And Blake gets a stick to it, losing his stick on the play. Jaden and Jackson going the other way. Nice stick by St. Peter's to break up that rush. But here they come again. Jackson beating a man at center ice, has one more to beat in the zone, and loses the handle in the slot. Here's Will supporting the play. Now Bryson chipping it forward to himself. St. Peter's, oh, and that's Will trying to pick up his stick as the puck came onto him. Gavin sending it up to Will. Now he's got his twig in his hands. And he'll dump it in deep. Wrapping it around to Leo. Centering and cleared out. Swept aside by St. Peter's. Jacob turns it around at center ice. He dumps it back in, but it's offsides. 5:04 left here in the first period. Still scoreless. It will be Bryson wearing the captain's C on the dot in neutral ice for Kirkwood. He's got Leo and Will on his wings. Jacob hits a St. Peter's skate, so he'll try the other side. St. Peter's steals it there. St. Peter's navigating traffic through neutral ice. Battle for it on these near boards. Held in at the point. Chipped off the boards. Makes a move into the face-off circle. And puck squirts loose to Jacob, who goes behind his own goal. Changing directions back there, coming up this same side. Pass goes off a skate. And St. Peter's has it in the neutral ice. Gavin switching it, but missing the mark on the pass. It goes to the end boards for icing. 4:17 left in the first period. Still looking for our first goal as both teams go for a change. It'll be David on the draw for the Stars. Looks like both Slam Line members are out there, as well as Blake and Bodie. St. Peter's fighting for it in the face-off circle. Sam comes in. Puck goes behind the goal. It's loose. Bodie fighting for it there. St. Peter's looking for a centering pass. Drops it to the point. And a slap shot one time from the wing. Goes over the goal. What a look from St. Peter's. And Kirkwood goes the other way. St. Peter's digging it out, chipping it up the boards. They're in again. Nice stick by Blake, but St. Peter's keeps coming, switching it to the weak side and sending it deep into the corner. Bodie's there for the Kirkwood, working it up the boards. Held in on a deep pinch. And St. Peter's turns it around, centering through the slot. Aiden on it. No, he gets pushed off the puck over there. Now Blake will skate it out. Has some space through neutral ice. Puts on the brakes at the blue line, loses an edge. David grabs the loose puck, skates it in himself. He looks for a pass. And the drop pass gets by his defenseman. So Kirkwood will have to reset in their own end. It's Jacob flipping it forward to Jaden. Here comes the Kirkwood forecheck, but not in time. It's icing. 2:40 left in the first period. So what a look we had back on this end from St. Peter's. A diagonal pass through the slot. Gets by the Kirkwood defenseman's stretched out stick all the way to the man on the far side. Wide open one-time slap shot is there. Didn't get all of it, and puck goes high and wide, but If they connect on that slapper, that is a beautiful goal. But here, Kirkwood is on the other end. Jaden can't get the centering pass as it's broken up. Drop back to Gavin, now deep to Liam. Here's Jackson skating it in. He goes down in the face-off circle. And now they keep fighting for it. Referee thought about raising his arm on that one. And it looks like they may have made, yeah, they did make the call behind. So the referee that I was looking at hesitated, but the official behind the play did make the call. I think the official looking at it that I could see had second thoughts, because just moments before it looked like it could have been a penalty on St. Peter's. They didn't call that. Then Jackson comes back to win the puck back, and he gets called for tripping. So first penalty of the game. It will be most of the rest of this period, with 1:10 to go on the penalty clock, 1:40 to go on the game clock for the first period, as Kirkwood sends it the length of the ice. It is whistled for icing there. So we'll reset the St. Peter's power play. 101 of extra man advantage for them, and just over a minute and a half left in the period. St. Peter's now with a couple really grade A chances, have not been able to convert. Then St. Peter's holds the line, working it back in the zone. Slot shot, Rory with the save, reaching over her head, but still under the bar. Grabs it with the glove and keeps us scoreless. That was a twisted wrister from the top of the slot. St. Peter's did a great job of being strong on the blue line to keep the puck in the zone. Here's another long shot, and it's in the goal! St. Peter's strikes first on the power play. Long shot from just inside the blue line. Had some heat on it. And St. Peter's out to a 1-0 lead. This is not the same thing as the long shots that beat Rory in Chicago. This was St. Peter's already set up in the zone. There was traffic in front. So I'm not sure if her vision got blocked or not, but even if she makes a save, there were people in place for a rebound, as this one goes long and off her glove, falls to the ice for a rebound, but defense deals with it. Jacob wraps it around. Held in at the line again by St. Peter's. Centering. Sam is there. Jacob sends it forward to Aiden, and now David. He comes forward, one man to beat. Can't get the full handle on it, and centering pass is picked off. 30 seconds left in the period. David grabs a loose puck, shoots it wide. What a chance for David there. Sloppy turnover by St. Peter's, gave him a good look, but puck stays out, and St. Peter's stays ahead 1-0. 18 seconds left to go in the period. Centering pass, held in at the line, sent back down deep. 10 seconds to go. And a whistle as the puck goes high. St. Peter's looked like they had controlled a loose puck back on the other side, but it came loose again. David grabbed it, pulled a quick trigger, but sent it wide. Here he skates it up out of the zone, has 2 seconds, can't get a shot off, and that'll be the first period. We head to the first intermission. St. Peter's leading 1-0. It's not on the board yet, but we all saw it go in on the power play. I was starting to say this is not, even though it was a long shot from just inside the blue line, it's not the same thing as the 2 long-distance goals that beat Rory in Chicago. Those were on rushes, and the shots were fired just as the forwards crossed over the blue line. So no traffic in front, nobody in place for the rebound. This time it was St. Peter's already set on the power play when they got the shot away. So not sure if someone was blocking Rory's vision, but in either case, St. Peter's did have traffic set up, ready for a rebound if one came out. Much different scenario and shot from St. Peter's than what we saw in Chicago. But here comes St. Peter's, dangerously down the wing, but wrapping around behind the goal. And now Kirkwood has the exit. It's Jaden dumping it in. He takes contact, and we're gonna get the first penalty against St. Peter's of the game. So we'll get a chance to see Kirkwood's power play after St. Peter's already has scored their one goal with the man advantage. It will be Liam Gale in the face-off circle for the Stars. He's got Jaden on his right. I'm guessing that's Jackson. It is Jackson on his left with Blake and Bodie on defense. Bodie sends it in on goal. Rebound. Jaden was there, but defense did just enough to disrupt him. Bodie centering again. This one gets to the goalie's pads. Kirkwood has the rebound behind the goal. Loose in front. Only white jerseys are there, and St. Peter's skates it out on the penalty kill. Here they come shorthanded. Turning the corner, shooting in. Hard, strong shot in close. Turned aside by Rory. Kirkwood power play goes the other way. It's Jaden Lowry. One-on-one with the defender. Losing the puck, supported by Jackson. Back out to Bodie at the point. Sends it deep, low into the corner. Liam is there. Taps it over to Jaden. Centering pass. Bodie's on it. Oh, his wrister is blocked by a St. Peter's stick. Kirkwood chips it low. 30 seconds left on the power play as St. Peter's skates it to space and passes it out of the zone. Here they come in again. Kirkwood gets a stick to it, breaking up the shorthanded rush. 14 seconds left of power play time for Kirkwood. It's Jaden coming down the wing again, centering to Jackson, but the pass goes behind him, so Jaden is in offsides with only 6 seconds of power play time left to go. Bryson on the dot for Kirkwood. Will and Leo on his wing. St. Peter's has the puck. They return to full strength as they dump it in deep. So St. Peter's gets the power play goal, then the penalty kill, and they lead 1-0 here in the second period. Jacob gains the blue line, centering pass. Only St. Peter's players are there in the slot. Long exit pass to the weak side. Gavin's got it, but St. Peter's forecheck keeps coming in offsides. That works to Kirkwood's favor. They had some catching up to do to the play, so the whistle lets them get their defense set in the zone. It's still Bryson on the dot with Will and Leo on the wings. Gavin and Jacob on defense as there's Jacob flipping it out of the zone. And Blake can't find the exit. No, that's Jacob. He skates it out. Over the blue line. Will on the wing. Bryson losing it. And here comes St. Peter's with speed. 2-on-1 if they hurry. Shot comes. It flies wide. St. Peter's back on the puck. Centering. Gavin is there. Chasing the puck down and flipping it to center ice. St. Peter's sending it right back in. Gavin looking for Aiden behind everybody. And he fans on the shot. Aiden back on the puck. turning it around, shooting, he scores! Aiden Lamb from the wing ties us 1-1 in the second period. It was a great pass by Gavin out of the defensive zone, finding Liam all the way, camped out on the opposite blue line. He was in, at least even with the defense, even maybe behind them. Didn't go direct to goal with it, and by the time the defense caught up to him, he was not able to get a full shot off, fanning on the attempt. But he stays with the play, chases the puck down on the opposite wing, and zips it into the net from over there. Sharp angle shot, but finds the window he needed to score. And we are level 1-1 with 8:24 left in the second period. David on the draw, fights forward, it's over to Sam in the corner, back to Bodie, holding the line, sending it back deep. David chasing on the forecheck. And centering, Sam was in the slot, but so was the defender. Puck goes to the near side boards, trickling out to Blake. He sends it down. Aiden fighting for it there. Here comes Sam. Puck back to Bodie. He sends it behind the goal. David's gonna chase it down in the corner. St. Peter's steals the puck there. David gets it right back. Flipping it to the slot. Defense deals with it. St. Peter's sends it out. And they keep coming, supporting the play. Bodie's back for it in his own end, passing up the boards. And St. Peter's sends it in offsides, changing on the play as the puck came into the zone. 7:23 here in the second period. 1-1 is the score. Goal by Aiden Lamb for the wing was the equalizer from Kirkwood, who fell behind in the first period on a power play goal by St. Peter's. St. Peter's coming forward. Shooting, soft shot goes wide. Nice exit pass to Jaden. Bumps it over to Liam. St. Peter's has it in their own end. Jaden gets a stick to it. Jacob barely can't hold the line. It does sneak over and back in for offsides. Even 7 minutes left to go here in the second stanza. Liam Gale on the dot for Kirkwood. Twin engines on his wings. And here comes St. Peter's, stopped at the blue line by Gavin. Puck comes back to the home side. And Jackson flips it forward. Back to Jacob, back forward into the zone. Jackson gets a stick to it now. Jaden on the puck, winning it, and Liam sends it behind the goal. St. Peter sends it right out, but through everyone, through center ice, and just to the side of Rory. So it does go for icing. Not a chance to get on goal there, which would have been a fortunate sequence for St. Peter's, but Kirkwood does get the icing whistle as we have a goalie change from St. Peter's at the halfway mark of this period. And Bryson taking the draw. St. Peter's working it out of the zone. Picked off by Bodie at center ice. St. Peter's sends it in. Blake is back for it, sends it up the boards to Bryson. St. Peter's comes in on a deep pinch, tying the puck up there right in front of the bench. Here's Bryson breaking free. He's got Leo with him, finds him on the wing, backhand shot, saved. Oh, and Leo had the puck behind the goal. It looked like it was sitting under the St. Peter's pads, but Leo was wrapping it around behind the net. The whistle clearly blew. So having a little conversation here. It is going to be a power play for Kirkwood. Bodie on the wing slapper, behind the goal. Will centering through the crease. Here's Bodie on the follow. He scores! Bodie Bossy! Power play goal gives Kirkwood its first lead of the game. Quick strike with the man advantage from Kirkwood. Normally you see Bodie like to handle the puck, take his time to load up a long wrister. He knew he didn't have that kind of time there. Gets a quick stick to it, bit of a slap shot on the rebound, sending it right back in on goal. And that is the go-ahead score for the Stars. Kirkwood doing a good job of winning the offensive zone face-off with the power play and got several looks at the goal. Rebounds kept bouncing out and Bodie sent one of them back in on goal and into the net. David on the draw at the center dot. Back to Blake. Battle for it just inside the blue line. Blake gets his stick to it and sends it deep. Wraps around to the other side. It's Sam on the wing. He sends it in towards goal. David behind, centering. Bodie keeps it in. Long wrister. What a glove save, stretching out. That was headed for the top shelf, but a really great grab by the St. Peter's goalie to keep it out. Long shot, had to see it through traffic. Got 2-2 on the board. I must have missed a St. Peter's goal somewhere. As Jacob sends it up to Aiden. Okay, now it's 2-1. I was getting confused there. I was seeing 2-2 on the scoreboard. I was trying to remember the second St. Peter's goal, but it is indeed 2-1 Kirkwood. Here's Aiden. Behind the goal. Centering. Oh, he had Sam in the slot. Right on top of the crease. Couldn't get his stick to it. And Jacob resets for the Stars. And St. Peter steps in, shot right at Rory. That was a rip. Very hard wrister from St. Peter's, but Rory was in position for the save. Didn't have much of a chance to react to that one, as that had some serious heat on it. But you do see the corrected scoreboard. 2-1 Kirkwood, 4:14 to go here in the second period. Blake will try again. His exit pass went off a skate. He fights it forward to Jackson on the wing. He has Jaden with him. Now Liam joins the rush. Jackson still carrying it. Turning the corner, wrapping around, centering. Oh, Leo got his stick to it, or Liam got his stick to it. I'm not sure if the goalie got that or the post. It hit something and stayed out. Great look created by Jackson, carrying it in the zone, wrapping it around, finding Liam in front. Connected on the pass even, but Something got in the way of the puck and kept it out. Here's St. Peter's, and Rory keeps it out. What a look from St. Peter's there. Bodie skating it forward. He's going to carry it out himself as a defenseman. Puts on the brakes in front of the blue line and sends it deep. Jaden in on the forecheck, wins the puck. Centering, denied by the defense. Jacob skating it in, centering to Bryson. It bounces over the line. Kirkwood breaks through. I didn't see who got the final touch on it, but it was a team effort goal there. Kirkwood's forecheck just keeps coming and willing the puck over the goal line, doubling their lead, now 3-1. It's Gavin going behind the goal, wrapping it over to Will. And Jacob gets in the way of the puck, but as he skates it out, St. Peter's slaps it in deep. Here's Gavin. He'll carry it out himself, centering to Bryson. He's got Leo with him, and Will too. Under the goalie's pads. And a little bit of extracurricular activity here after the whistle. Puck sliding along the ice into and under the pads, but not into the goal. We stay 3-1 here. 2:04 left in the second stanza. David on the draw, slam line on his wings. St. Peter's can't exit. Now fighting through traffic. It does squirt loose to center ice. St. Peter's on it there. Shooting, no, makes a huge dangle through the face-off circle. Right on top of the crease, but can't get it to go. We say 3-1. What a move from St. Peter's there. As this puck comes all the way back to Rory. She keeps it live. St. Peter's holding the line. Blake skates it out himself. Looking for a pass to David. Off the pads. Follow into the glove. Nice sequence from the Stars there. Blake carrying it forward. Making some moves with the stick. Looked like he might think about shooting. Decided to lay it off to David on the wing. He gets a hard shot into the pads. Play was supported and another shot comes in, but finds the goalie's glove. And we stay 3-1 with just over a minute to go here in the middle frame. Jackson on the puck. Back to Gavin at the point. Into the slot. Kept out by the goalie. Wrap around coming. It's in the goal. Jackson Lowry, team leader in points, adds to his total on the wraparound. He saw an opening and just went for it, sneaking it in just before the goalie can get his pads over. And Kirkwood now leading 4-1 with 56 seconds left to go here. Timeout from St. Peter's. They did score first in this game and looked like they had the front foot forward early in of really dangerous looks before their first goal went in even. So St. Peter's starting out really strong, but a big answer from Kirkwood here in the second period. 4 goals, all in the middle frame. Started with Aiden Lamb getting a loose puck on the wing and scoring on a sharp angle shot. Bodie scored on the power play, same side. slapping it in on a rebound that went all the way out to the face-off circle. Jackson got the fourth goal wraparound there. Didn't see who got the final touch on goal number 3, but it was a team effort with just wave after wave coming on the forecheck, willing the puck over after several shots. And Rory has played strong game in goal herself, giving up only the long power play shot. Here comes Jaden looking for more before this middle period ends. Dropping it to Jacob. Tried to get it to Liam on the wing. Disrupted by the defense, so Kirkwood resets, but not patient enough there. They're in offsides with 35 seconds to go before the second intermission. It will be Liam on the dot with Jaden and Jackson on his wings. St. Peter's stealing it at center ice. Coming forward, they have 30 seconds to play with here. Long, hard shot goes high over the bar. They've been shooting it with pace today. Lots of heat on these shots from St. Peter's. As here's Liam on the wing. He sent a shot behind the goal. Jackson and Jaden fighting for it. St. Peter's skating it out. Chasing the puck deep into Kirkwood zone, but the clock runs out on the second period, and we head to the second intermission. Kirkwood leading 4-1. Big second stanza from the Stars there. They trailed 1-0 at the first break, but come back with 4 goals in the middle frame. And now are 1 period away from clinching first place in the regular season and the number 1 seed in the Blue Note Cup playoffs. They would get the second St. Peter's team, not this team on the ice today, but the other St. Peter's team would be their first round opponent if they do indeed grab that top seed in the playoffs. Kirkwood only needing the 2 points this weekend because of the tiebreaker they hold against the Rockets. They split the season series with the Rockets, each winning 1, but Kirkwood with the 2-0 shutout was 1 goal better than the 2-1 loss they suffered. So that head-to-head 1 goal advantage is what gives them the tiebreak if they end up the same amount of points. As they fight forward on the far board, St. Peter's skates away with it. Stretch pass, broken up by Bodie, but forecheck keeps coming, and just in offsides. Had a good rush going there, but just a little too hasty across the blue line. As Bryson, wearing the captain C, on the dot for the draw here in neutral ice. St. Peter's wins it, but here comes Leo fighting forward to take it back. Little backhand flip onto the goalie who covers there. Not much of a shot, but probably hoping to generate a rebound. No such luck as the goalie covers it quickly. We stay 4-1 Kirkwood with 2.5 minutes to go. Bryson, here's St. Peter's skating it out. Will fighting for it at center ice. And Jacob steps up at his own blue line, skates it forward, gains the other one. But here's St. Peter's going the other way. Kirkwood will reset, switching to the weak side. And St. Peter's sends it back to Jacob. He'll try the other boards. It's up to Bryson. Skating in deep into the corner, looking for the centering pass, broken up by the defense. That one did sneak out to center ice, so it's offsides as Gavin skates it back in. "4-1 Stars, 11:49 left in the game. Kirkwood closing in on a regular season title. David taking the draw. Sam turning it around, skating in, sending it deep. Here's David on the forecheck. Gets a stick to it, wins it back. Finds a centering pass to Aiden, makes a move. It pops up off the shoulder of the goalie and covered in front. The puck does squirt loose to the corner, but the whistle clearly blew. David doing great work on the forecheck there. St. Peter's had clear control of it in the corner. David gets a stick to it to pop it loose and grab the steal. He centers it back to the point, and they work a shot into the goalie, but the defense did well to help the goalie find the puck and get the cover. Bodie in the corner with help from David. Sam waiting in the wings as well. Now, Sam tried to get a stick to it. St. Peter's loose puck on the back door. Now into the face-off circle. St. Peter's still on it. Back to the point, long shot coming behind the goal. Flipped high in the air, back on the ice now. Puck is just pinballing around back there. Here's David skating it out, centering to Sam. St. Peter's skates it behind their own goal. Quick stick from Sam breaks it up, but St. Peter's comes back this same side out to Bodie. St. Peter's still coming forward on the wing. Broken up in the face-off circle, loose puck. And now David will skate it out. He's got Jackson up ahead of him. Loses the handle though. Defense comes in off the bench, and Gavin taps it forward to Jackson. Switching it, tried to get it to Jaden. Couldn't connect. And here comes St. Peter's, sending it in deep. Rory keeps it live. Gavin flips it forward. It comes back down behind the goal. Jacob will go to the other side. And now Liam loses it as he tried to skate it out. He's back on it. Over to Jaden on the wing. St. Peter's has it there. Good stick by Jaden to win it back. He's got it in the corner. Liam looking for the centering pass. He gets covered by the defense, so Jaden stays on the puck. Now he loses it. Jackson fights for it to win it back. Liam skating in. Jackson in the corner behind the goal to Jaden. It's loose to Liam. And St. Peter's works it out of the zone. Liam skates it right back in. Spins it around, down to Jaden. Kirkwood working hard to keep control of the puck here. And Jackson now fighting forward in the corner. St. Peter's wins it there. They'll try the other side. High energy shift from Kirkwood to keep control of the puck, and they're still out there. Jaden and Jackson coming back for more, and Gavin gets a stick to it, but St. Peter's will pass it out. Stretch pass, can't connect center ice. Blake's back for it, and goes up those far boards to Bryson. Stays on the puck and skates forward. Drop pass to Will. Off a skate. Over to Bodie. He's got a wrister. It goes over the bar. And pops up for a whistle. Great look at goal from Bodie Bossy there. He's already got one goal today. had time and space this time to really load up that wrist shot. Couldn't get it to go. We stay 4-1 Kirkwood. 7:51 to go. Puck is loose in the face-off circle. Will's got it. Sends it low. Wraps it around back to Will. St. Peter's stolen by Bryson. Will stepping up. And now St. Peter's skates it out. Switch pass. Back to the other side. Held in at the blue line. Bryson on the puck. And Blake supports the play. Goes up to Will on the wing. He's got Leo, top of the slot. Can't get the handle. David whiffs on a stick. And puck goes back to Blake behind the goal. Through center ice all the way back to the St. Peter's defense. And they skate with speed up center ice. Right down Main Street, but broken up just inside the blue line. St. Peter's behind their own goal. Makes a move to avoid a forechecker. Exit pass. And skating with speed across the center line. Trying to turn the corner. Centering pass. Toe save by Rory. Slapper coming behind the goal. Over to Aiden on the wing. Supported by David. Skating it in. Making a move. Tried to split the defense. Aiden with the follow. Hard shot high and wide. Sam sends it towards the goal. David chases it down in the corner. St. Peter's sends it back to Aiden. Long shot. Bouncing. Loose. David on the doorstep. St. Peter's skating it out. And late change coming here from St. Peter's. They had all 5 stars back, only one, and there's a blocker save from Rory, long shot. As now St. Peter's sets up with a full 5 on the ice. Puck goes loose back into their side. St. Peter's reloads, but Jacob meets them there at his own blue line. Loose again back to Jacob. He'll take it behind his own goal. Puts on the brakes there. Comes back up the same side. Chips it forward. Here's Liam. Can't get to it. St. Peter's sends it in deep. Jacob on the puck. Sending it up the boards. Jackson. Now back to Gavin. Over to Jaden. Loose puck to Liam. Jacob steps up. Strong in the neutral zone. Here's Jaden with some space. On the wing. Drop to Jackson. Shot goes wide. We've seen that a lot from those two. Here's Jaden again in the corner, over to Jackson on the wing. Skates it back down low, turns it around, drops it to Liam. Picked off in the slot and passed out to center ice. Just under 4 minutes to go here in the final period. And we'll get a penalty. Couple of power play goals already in this game. Kirkwood heads back to the box. That is how St. Peter's scored their only goal of the game. First period power play goal. They took a 1-0 lead with that one, but it's been all Kirkwood since then. Bryson winning the draw on the penalty kill, skating it out short-handed. And St. Peter's turns it around. Bryson lifts the stick from behind. Blake loses an edge. Now Leo gets to the loose puck. St. Peter's. Oh, Bryson with a strong stick at center ice. Leo fighting forward. And St. Peter's comes back with speed. 1-on-3 though, even with the man advantage on the ice. Blake breaks it up. St. Peter's top of the slot, shot. Oh, Rory gets her toe to it. Stretching out wide. Now the puck comes loose to her. Couple of shots on the doorstep, high glove save. How did she find that one? Over her shoulder. Power play keeps coming. Behind the goal. Will on the wing. Chips it up the boards to Leo. Kirkwood about to return to full strength here. And Will works it out. Liam comes out of the box, grabs the loose puck. St. Peter's fighting forward again. Long stretched out glove save by Rory. Again getting the glove to it. Between her toe and her glove today, she has robbed several St. Peter's goals. And Sam sends it forward. Gets to the goalie. Will on the rebound. Behind the goal. Leo looking for it. St. Peter's skating it out. And now a penalty behind the play. Looked like Liam got tied up. I believe this is going to be interference. Maybe a high stick. Either way, St. Peter's is back in the box. So game clock and penalty clock only 1 second apart. Kirkwood still leading 4-1 now on the power play. And puck goes all the way for icing. So Kirkwood has a 3-goal lead and a 1-man advantage. Only 81 seconds left for this to hold, and they will be your regular season champions of 12U Peewee A3. St. Peter's skating it out. Aiden on the loose puck, skating with speed. He's not done yet. Gets a hard shot in onto the goalie. 1 minute to play. David switches it to Sam, but Aiden's in offsides. 53 seconds to go. Kirkwood leading 4-1, skating with an extra man. Liam on the dot, winning the draw over to Jackson on the wing, fighting forward, shooting. Goalie's got it. Felt like he had a little more room to shoot at on the other side of the goal, but goalie in position there on that short side, keeps it out. We stay 4-1. Jackson again, this time into the glove and covered. Little testy down there between these two teams. Liam will do it again. Over to Jackson, shot again into the glove, again covered in front. Now down to 38 seconds. Again, Liam winning it towards Jackson. This time St. Peter's grabs it. And it squirts out to center ice. Bodie turns it around there. St. Peter's skating forward, 16 seconds. Centering pass, loose. 10 seconds. Bodie's on the puck. Now Jackson skating it out. And the Kirkwood Stars are your regular season champions and top seed in the Blue Note Cup playoffs. They've still got one more game to go against Chesterfield tomorrow. But the Rockets can only catch up to them in points, not pass them. Kirkwood has the tiebreaker. So they will be your number one seed in the Blue Note Cup playoffs, earning themselves a first round date with the other St. Peter's team that only has one win so far through all of their regular season league games. St. Peter's started this game looking really strong, and not just because they got the opening goal. St. Peter's with several grade A chances early in this one. The big one I remember is a diagonal pass through the slot to the wing with an open shooter on the far side. Got the one-time slap shot to it. Didn't get all of it, but had an open goal from a great pass and a great swing at it. That puck misses its mark. Another chance St. Peter's had as well before they finally break through for the game's opening goal. And they led 1-0 at the first intermission, but Kirkwood rebounded in a big way, scoring all 4 goals in the second stanza. If I can remember all of them, it was Aiden from the wing on a sharp angle shot, following his own miss into the opposite corner. Then it was Bodie on the power play, giving Kirkwood its first lead of the game. Third goal was a team effort. I didn't see who got the final touch to it, but it was wave after wave of forecheck that finally worked it across the goal line. Jackson, your team leader in points, got goal number 4 on a nice wraparound, saw an opening and went for it and beat the goalie to that post, sneaking it inside the post and the pads for goal number 4. And that is how Kirkwood wins the regular season title. But really, I mean, it does feel good for a very impressive season, but you're not hanging any banners for that. You're not getting any trophies for that. The real reward for it is that number 1 seed in the playoffs and the choice matchup in the first round, giving you the optimal path through the playoffs. One more tomorrow, 10:30 a.m. against Chesterfield to wrap up the regular season. Then it's tournament time before the playoffs. We'll say goodbye from Wentzville until tomorrow, back home in Kirkwood.